Good morning, children. In yesterday's class, we learned about the cell organelles, different cell organelles, their functions. We understood, right? So, today we are going to focus the centrally located part in a cell. You all know that. What is the centrally located part in a cell? From the beginning of our cell lesson, we are discussing about this. A centrally located part is present, that is known as nucleus. So today we are going to discuss about nucleus. Who found the nucleus first time? In first video we already discussed about this. Robert Brown, a great scientist. Robert Brown found nucleus first time in 1881. And he also explained about the structure of nucleus. Nucleus is surrounded by a membrane which is known as nuclear membrane. It's known as nuclear membrane. Inside the nucleus, however, we have cytoplasm inside the cell. Same way, inside the nucleus, the jelly-like substance present inside is known as nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is present inside the nucleus. And the membrane which is surrounding the nucleus known as nuclear membrane. This membrane have some pores. They are known as nuclear pores. Nuclear pores help to allow the materials to move from inside the cell to the cytoplasm. The nuclear pore is allowing the nuclear membrane which has pores in it. So through these nucleopores, the nucleic materials from inside the nucleus can move towards the cytoplasm. So the organisms which have this nuclear membrane, all the organisms are not having nuclear membrane. So the organisms which have this nuclear membrane are known as eukaryotes. Eukaryotic cells are eukaryotic organisms. The cells which have the nuclear membrane, those cells are known as eukaryotic cells. The organisms which have the eukaryotic cells, they are known as eukaryotic organisms. And the organisms which do not have this nuclear membrane, some organisms will not have this nuclear membrane. So such organisms are known as prokaryotic organisms. Prokaryotic cells. The cells which do not have the nuclear membrane, we are calling them as prokaryotic cells. The organisms which have the nuclear membrane known as eukaryotic cells. So now inside the nucleoplasm, up to the outer structure of nucleus, you understood what's the meaning of nucleus. It is surrounded by which part? Everything clear to you all? Now we'll move inside the nucleus. What are present inside the nucleus we'll see now. Inside the nucleus, the thread-like structures are present which are known as chromatin. Chromatin is present inside the nucleus. A thread-like structures called as chromatin. So this chromatin, and you all know that every cell undergoes for the division and each cell will give two daughter cells. That means cell division takes place. Because of that cell division only, the growth is taking place. You are occurring when you are in LKG, your height is very small, and now when you came to class 8, you are grown up in size, right? That's because of your cell division. In your body, there are trillions and millions of cells are there. So those cells are dividing every day. Because of that cell division, your growth is taking place. Your weight is increasing. So when the time of cell division, this chromatin condenses and gets a spindle shape. The chromatin gets condensed at the time of cell division. What's the meaning of cell division? Cell division means giving from a single cell, two daughter cells are formed. That's known as cell division. You'll be reading more about cell division in class 9. There are two different types of cell divisions are there. Mitotic cell division and meiotic cell division. These all in detail you'll read in class 9. Now you understand what changes occur, the basic changes which takes place in the nucleus at the time of cell division. So these chromosomes condense. Condensing means the material which is present in the chromatin come closer and they condense, get a spindle shape. Spindle form they get and the structure appears like this. So these are known as chromosomes. So chromatin condenses and forms chromosomes. The condensed chromatin forms the chromosomes. The chromosomes are spindle in shape and in middle of this chromosome centromere is present. Middle of the chromosome centromeres are present. This is centromere. So near this centromere the division takes place and the upper part of this chromosome, chromatid will call, the upper chromatids move upper pole and the chromatids, down chromatids move towards here and a split comes in the middle so that a single nucleus get divided into two cells. In such a way the division takes place in cells. So the basic structure of chromosome when we see, only the chromosome structure we'll see now. If we see the structure of a chromosome, this is known as chromatid, and this is centromere. So this chromatid have genes, a segment, functional segment known as gene. So these genes contain the DNA, a functional unit known as DNA. Genes consist of DNA. The meaning of DNA you already learnt in class 1 video. I said about the DNA, right? So now you are clearly understanding that the chromatin condensing and spindle shaped chromosomes are formed. Chromosomes have two chromatids. Both the chromatids are connected by a centromere. This is centromere. So these chromosomes are having genes. So the genes are made up by DNA. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. Now can you tell me what is present inside the nucleoplasm? Chromatin is present, right? The chromatin condense and form the chromosome. So this is the structure of chromosome. So the chromosome structure is in spindle shape. Two chromatids are present. These are known as chromatid. How many chromatids are there in each chromosome? Two chromatids. Both are attached by a centromere. And these chromosomes consist of functional segments known as genes. The genes are made up of by DNA. The full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. So with the help of this, the genes are made up of. So these genes are taking an important role to pass the characters from parents to the offsprings. So in such a way, cell division also taking place. So this is all about our nucleus. Now, based on the nuclear membrane, some cells are prokaryotes, some cells are eukaryotes, I told you. Now we will see the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So pro means primitive. Pro means primitive. Primitive organisms. They are primitive, very old organisms. When the single cellular organisms are all the organisms formed, they are having prokaryotic cells. They are primitive organisms. So here in the eukaryotes, they are well-developed organisms. Developed organisms are having eukaryotic cells. The cells are well developed. Organization is taking place. Organ systems are there. So here, very small organisms they are. Prokaryotes are small organisms like our bacteria, like our protozoans and all. They are very minute and microscopic, small organisms. When we come to the eukaryotes, they are large in size. They are large in size, like all animals, all human beings, plants and everything comes under eukaryotic cells. They are containing eukaryotic cells. And they have, prokaryotes have nuclear membrane around the cell, around the nucleus. Do they have nuclear membrane? No. So here in prokaryotes, nuclear membrane is absent. Nuclear membrane is absent. And in the eukaryotes, nuclear membrane is present. Nuclear membrane present in eukaryotes. Nuclear membrane absent in prokaryotes. And here membrane bound organelles. Membrane bound organelles are absent. What's the meaning of membrane bound organelles? In last videos we discussed about cell organelles, right? So there are n number of different types of cell organelles are there. When I explained about Golgi bodies, I told you that they are membrane bound vesicles. Even lysosomes are membrane bound vesicles. That means they are having connection with the cell membrane. So here when you see your prokaryotic organisms, they do not have the organelles in such a way. Their organelles are absent by connecting with the cell membrane. Here when you see eukaryotes, all membrane bound organelles are present. That means all the cell organelles which we discussed in our before classes, all those maximum cell organelles are membrane bounded organelles. And here only single chromosome is present. In prokaryotes, single chromosome is present. When we come to the eukaryotes, more than one chromosome. More than one, that means it may be 2, it may be 3 or it may have n number of, that differs. Number of chromosomes different from one organism to the another organism. So as human beings, when we see each cell will have 46 chromosomes. In same way, it will different to each and every organism. But all the eukaryotes are having more than one chromosomes. So these are the basic differences between prokaryotes and the eukaryotic cells. See about nucleoid. What's the meaning of nucleoid? We'll see now. Nucleoid meaning and where does this nucleoid present, that we'll understand now. You see the structure of a bacteria cell. Bacteria comes under prokaryote. So bacteria also have a cell wall like plant cell. Bacteria is also having a cell wall. Bacteria has cell wall and cell membrane also present. Cell membrane, cell wall. And inside this, instead of the nucleus, centrally every cell is having centrally located nucleus, right? But in bacteria, when we see, in place of nucleus, inside the nucleus, the jelly-like substance, what I said just now, that's the nucleoplasm. Instead of nucleoplasm, poorly defined nucleoplasm, that means absence of nucleoplasm. Instead of nucleoplasm, the bacteria is having organic acids here. It's having organic acids in the middle. Poorly defined nucleic acids are present. In place of nucleoplasm, inside the nucleus, the nucleoplasm should be. But instead of nucleoplasm, the bacteria is having nucleic acid. So wherever the nucleic acid is present, that's known as nucleoid. So the nucleoid is present in bacteria cells. This is only the example. So more like bacteria, most of the prokaryotes are having nucleoid. Nucleoid is nothing but nucleic acid in place of nucleoplasm. So this is also we can include in our differences. Prokaryote, eukaryote differences you are writing. So here you can write nucleoid is present. Nucleoid present. Here nucleoid is absent. In eukaryotes, nucleoid is absent. In prokaryotes, nucleoid is present. Okay, and next one is nucleoplasm. Nucleoid over nucleoplasm, you know, nucleolus we'll see. What's the meaning of nucleolus? Nucleoplasm is inside the nucleus. And nucleolus, what's the meaning of nucleolus? We are trying to understand now. So the differences between prokaryotes, eukaryotes, you understood? So now the nucleolus means, and where does it is present, that we'll see. Inside the nucleus, the nucleoplasm is present and chromatin is present. Along with this chromatin, a round shape structure is present that takes up to 25% of volume inside the nucleoplasm. 25% of place it occupies, the nucleoplasm occupies. So it acts like a brain of the nucleus. It acts like a brain of nucleus. It gives the instructions to the nucleus. It is present at a corner of the nucleus in the nucleoplasm, and 25% of place it occupies. It gives instructions to the nucleus, and it also helps, this nucleolus is helping for protein synthesis. How our ER, smooth ER, rough ER is helping, how our ribosomes are helping. Same way, our nucleolus is also helping in protein synthesis. Nucleolus is also helping in protein synthesis. It's helping. And it also helps for the formation of ribosomes. Formation of ribosomes also our nucleolus is helping. Did you read about ribosomes before? The round spherical structures present in the cytoplasm which helps in the protein synthesis. Those cell organelles are formed from nucleolus. Nucleolus is giving instruction to the nucleus for the formation of ribosomes. Finally, the nucleolus is helping to control the cell, acting like a brain. And for protein synthesis, it's helping. Next one, peroxisomes. Peroxisomes are also floating in cytoplasm. One of the cell organelle, it is very minute in structure, very small in structure, spherical in shape, very small structures just like our ribosomes, but ribosomes are bigger in size than the peroxisomes. So these peroxisomes are present in our kidney and liver cells. In our liver cells and kidneys, these peroxisomes are present. In kidneys, what are produced in the kidneys? What are produced in the livers? You already learnt in your nutrition in animals, in your digestive system learnt. The kidneys are helping for excretory system, you learnt in class 7, for the formation of urine. Right? Kidneys are helping. That means they are removing the waste materials from the body. If the waste materials are not removed from our body, what happens? All these substances, the waste matter gathers toxic substances which causes harm to our body. A long time, these waste substances should not accumulate in the body. If it accumulate like that, it harms to the living body. So this kidneys also have waste materials, and even our liver cells, it emulsify the fats. It converts fat into fatty acids. This you learned in previous class. So in both of these cells, there is a possibility of accumulation of waste material. Waste material they are collecting. So this peroxisomes, what they will do, they'll send out this waste material. They helps to send out the waste materials from kidneys and liver cells. So they are sending out they help to send the waste materials outside. And in same way, these peroxisomes are also present in plant cells in the form of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis cells, that means where the which cells are helping in photosynthesis? Our chloroplastids. Yesterday only we discussed, right? So in chloroplastids, these peroxisomes are present and help to remove the toxic substances from cells. Even in the plant cells also they are helping to remove the toxic substances and to keep the organism healthy. So till now we have completed about our nucleus, our prokaryotes and eukaryotic differences we learnt, and about the nucleolus and nucleoid, meaning of nucleolus and nucleoid, their functions very clearly you learnt. So your today's homework is write the differences between eukaryotes and prokaryotic cells. Eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells. And the next one is a nucleus. Draw the diagram of a nucleus and label all the parts. These two answers write in your notebook and be ready for our next class, children. Thank you.
Prokaryotes will break down food particles. Calculations energy. Chloroplastic plants and trees. And solos giving box-like shape region. Cells. Cells.